Hi guys, Chris Wong here. I'm going to be talking about sunburns and what I did this time in order to minimize the pain of sunburns and how I heal much faster than the previous sunburn I had like a couple years ago. So as a disclaimer, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a practitioner. I'm just a guy who's interested in nutrition. I've taken a few nutrition courses. So I remember a few years ago, I went to the beach and I actually went outside from like 10 a.m. to like 4 p.m. And I actually had sunburn on my shoulders and my upper back, and I think a little bit on my upper chest. And it was actually painful for a few days. Like even someone like pat me on the back, and I felt a lot of pain. And then it was peeling more, and it actually took longer to heal. Recently, I just came back from a vacation close to the equator, and the UV ray is much higher there. The sun is much hotter, and the weather there is much hotter overall compared to where I live in Canada. And what I found was my increase in knowledge of nutrition and through trial and error, I actually decreased the pain of the sunburn that I had, even though I had more exposure. And even when I actually felt a little bit of sunburn pain, the pain went away much faster the next day. So I'm just going to give a few tips of what I think happened over the years and tips I've always practiced in order to make sure I don't get sunburn when I do regular sun exposures. In the last few years, I started supplementing with supplements like glucose iodine, once in a while selenium, tyrosine, vitamin C, ascorbic acid powder, and sodium ascorbate. I also took L5-MTHF, which is the active form of folic acid. And I use supplements like fish oil as well. There's other supplements that I do take, but I'm not going to go in detail of which ones I take. But I remember the first time I got a really bad sunburn, or what's considered bad for me, I didn't take at least half of the stuff I just mentioned. And what happened was it took a long time to heal. So I think the reason why supplements like glucose iodine and selenium and vitamin C, they're helpful because my body was completely deficient in it. That the glucose iodine was helpful for the thyroid production. Same for selenium to help regulate properly. And even the tyrosine has a part in the thyroid too, but then tyrosine is also beneficial for the melanin production to help with tanning. So it could be one of the reasons why I had vitiligo here for many years. Other supplements I've had were part of the iodine protocol, so I made sure I had sufficient salt. Like even the last few months, I've been taking probably like an extra half teaspoon or even a full teaspoon of a Himalayan or Celtic salt for each day, and that helps with the use of glucose iodine, which also I think helps with adrenal and it's helping my skin health. And then I've been using B2 and B3 as well, which all help with the skin health as well. So I think the supplements I added related to the iodine protocol help me heal from the sun faster. So on my last trip, when I started feeling signs of sunburn, like my shoulder area, so I actually started peeling here, but I don't feel any pain. And what I found was on the trip, I wasn't thinking about taking supplements. I thought I'd take a break. But when I started noticing some sunburn pain, I was taking some vitamin C powder, the ascorbic acid form, and the pain went away faster because vitamin C has benefits for skin healing. Other supplements like L5-MTHF folate, I took it before because I thought I became deficient in it from all the blood donations I did in the past, because I had some deficiency in some red blood cell production. And then I also read somewhere that folate gets depleted with a lot of sun exposure. So I thought, just try it out myself. And right now I'm also trying a much higher dose of fish oil, and not like cheap ones, but getting sufficient amount of EPA DHA to help with circulation, and help with skin health, and help with eczema that I had around here. I don't know how beneficial it is, but I thought I'd just give it a try. Now I'll talk about my routines for going for tanning and how to minimize sunburns. I don't use sunscreen myself because my skin is very sensitive to the chemicals of it, and I read somewhere that taking or using a lot of sunscreen can actually reduce the absorption of vitamin D from the sun, because it's blocking the rays that actually cause vitamin D production. So I have to get my vitamin D this way because I'm also very sensitive to the supplement, but not from the sun. I use coconut oil for myself because I read that you can still absorb vitamin D through coconut oil, and it does have some benefits for protecting the skin from a sunburn. One thing I always did was to tan on a regular basis, as I do smaller sessions. Like, I don't tan more than 30 minutes at a time when I go outside, either to the backyard or just to take a walk. I usually try to keep it less than 30 minutes, and then come inside, take a break. If I want to get more, I go back outside, and I'll probably do it like after 10 or 15 minutes. That way I at least get my skin to cool down. I think the reason why people get sunburns easily on vacation is because most people who go on vacation, they generally work indoors for their full-time job. A lot of activities are indoors, and generally when they go outside, they're usually fully clothed. So when you go on vacation and go shirtless or in a bikini and expose yourself for several hours, your body's not conditioned for much higher rays compared to where you live, and you don't give your body a break to keep away from the sun for some time in order for the body to adapt to it. It's kind of like a workout. If you haven't worked out in years and all of a sudden you did one hard session, it's going to be a lot more painful and a lot more time to heal from it compared to someone who regularly trains and then all of a sudden did that hard session. I'm not considering genetics in this video, I'm just talking just in general. So I know some people can tan very easily without sunscreen or any form of natural sunblock. They even do it for like 5 hours a day and they just get darker without any signs of sunburn. And then there's some people I've met, even with using sunblock, and 15 minutes or even 30 minutes of exposure, they already got some signs of sunburn.